And we are live, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Of the People Live. Hello, Ericka.
Hello, Robert.
So your girlfriend, I have so many girlfriends, right? We've talked about, but your girlfriend is back in the news.
Wait, my girlfriend?
Your girlfriend, the mayor of Dolton, Illinois. Henyard is back. So wait.
Tiffany.
Tiffany
Good old
Henyard,
Tiffany.
the glamour puss or glamour doll, mayor of Dolton, Illinois, is back in the news. So it turns out after we did our show, and I can't say it was us that brought down the attention on her, but after we did the show, it seems she is now under FBI investigation.
Yeah.
And but wait, it gets better. The FBI starts talking to local businesses, former people on the board, and all of a sudden the police of Dolton, Illinois, sort of like personal hit squad, start showing up and harassing businesses and raiding businesses.
Shaking them down.
Shaking them down. And by the way, all the businesses that they've been shaking down are the ones that haven't contributed to her campaign, by the way, among other things. So
I feel like this is good old-fashioned Illinois politics. Aren't they known for being like the most corrupt, the most have gone to jail, mobster type stuff? Isn't that a thing there?
Well, you're talking about the Daily Machine, which don't forget, you go back to the days of, Alphonse Capone, you go back to, the South Side Gang, you go back to, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre and all those things. But that was usually contained within the city of Chicago. Right. That's a little bit different. But and again, as we like to go to the articles, here you go. So Fox reports 6 individuals have spoken to the FBI about Henyard's conduct, including a business owner, former village employee, and one public official. Right. And after that happened, one of them in particular refused to donate to the civic event sponsored by Henyard. The police show up as a warning to other businesses. Right. So we have this, and this show, folks, is going to be about sort of the Cultural Revolution. Because if you don't think we're in a Cultural Revolution, no disrespect, folks, you're either ignorant of history or I don't know, you're too busy doing something.
Head in the sand. I don't know, but maybe.
You have Trump in New York State with Letitia James, $355 million for a law that they haven't shown that there was a victim.
That's right.
On. And they're not even allowing him to appeal before he posts the bond or the money. I mean,
yeah.
The weaponization. Forget about the weaponization of the legal system, which is what the Democrats are doing. But it is the cultural revolution. That's the heading that all this is captured under, right? So people just have to understand that. But anyways, your girlfriend's back in the news.
Yeah. My girl.
Your girl. So
My girl.
Under FBI investigation. Now you wonder if is she going to get the Biden treatment or the Trump treatment?
I think she will get the Biden treatment because you are not allowed to prosecute brown people. Remember, Robert, black people.
Well, wait, I thought she's black.
She is black.
Is she black or brown?
Black, brown. Okay. She is a non-white person. And therefore, because all non-white people are the victims of society, it's okay for them to steal and commit fraud because it's reparations. So she'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Now you sound like AOC when all these people were breaking into New York City. She says, well, they just need to eat and they need reparations. You want to tell me how they're going to eat Nike sneakers?
Oh, yeah. The
right?
Louis Vuitton bag. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if you boil it in water, I hear it makes a really good broth.
I'm telling you what. Actually, what's really funny is a lot of those brands, those luxury brands. Sorry, this is a total side note. I just learned this. A lot of those like Louis Vuitton bags and stuff, they're not even leather. What they do is, there's a little patch inside the purse that says genuine leather, and it's the patch that is genuine leather, not the purse. So, a little fun fact. You stole a $2,000 purse that really is made of plastic. So the joke is on you, ladies.
It tastes bad when you try to eat it. So for all the food that AOC says you need. Come on. The naked abuse of power is stunning. It's not only where's the outrage. It's it's not WTO. It's WTF. As far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
So you just sit here and shake your head. In any event, Are we ready to go?
We're going to start off the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
We are going to start off the show.
Hold your horses. We're going to get started here. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Where is our intro? All right.
By the
Robert.
way, and I still think the people of Daltonville for electing her are adults. Just putting that out there.
Well, at least they voted to kick her out and get rid of her. So that's a good thing.
They haven't voted that yet. There's just
They
some people
did.
some people are dropping a dime.
No, they voted to recall her, and then she took it to court and got it overturned. Okay, you guys, check out Actual Justice Warriors playlist on this gal. Anyway, okay, we're getting started for real. We're serious.
For real. Hello and welcome to Of the People. Thank you for joining us live. Mao's Cultural Revolution Revisited. We are in the middle of a cultural revolution here, and anyone who denies that is clearly not paying attention. In 1966, after, 15, 18 years in power, Mao launches a 10-year cleansing or cultural revolution from the Great Proletarian Revolution. And basically, while it encompassed a lot of things and it was against bourgeoisie and money and those kinds of things, it was a purge of those unbelievers who did not believe the new religion of communism or socialism that Mao had been infusing into the system. We now have so many examples of that in this country, and it really is the unifying factor. I give you the latest, which is MSNBC reporter, and I'm going to butcher this name, folks. So it is Heidi, Przybilla, Przybyle, who says that Christian nationals, oh my God, by the way, Christian nationals are the new MAGA. For the 2024 election, you heard it here first. You're going to hear the word Christian nationalism and Christian nationalist. That's the buzzword. She says that Christian nationals, oh my God, believe that Americans' rights are granted by God, not Congress, and not the Supreme Court. I have news for her. First of all, if you can read, and she probably cannot read, but if you read the Declaration of Independence, it says, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. Last time I checked, the creator was God. Now, you can put whatever label you want on it, but to say that Americans' rights don't come from God is to deny the founding and foundational documents of this country. She goes on to say, by the way, just because you know how I love to read all this stuff, she goes on to say that regarding Trump in 2016, a lot of mainline evangelicals wanted nothing to do with the divorced real estate Trump. So what happened was he was surrounded by the more extremist elements. We are going to hear words like Christian nationalism and the new apostolic reformation. These groups should be very schooled on because they have a lot of influence in Trump. But here's the key. What unites them as Christian nationalists, not Christians, because Christian nationalists are very different, is that they believe that our rights as Americans and all human beings do not come from earthly authority. They don't come from Congress or the Supreme Court. Christian nationalists, heaven forbid, believe that rights come from God. That strikes at the very core of the cultural revolution that's going on here. And and by the way, someone needs to distinguish for me what the difference is between Christian nationals or Christians. There's a war on Christianity. There's a war on religion. And the religion is the religion of wokeism versus Judeo-Christian values. Because this whole war in the Middle East that's going on, the Hamas war, we Jews are first. But if they drive the Jews into the sea, the Christians are second. And that's what's going on here. And I don't care whether it's the Islamic fundamentalism or the radicalism at home or Black Lives Matters, they're all part of the same thing. Have you seen the 13 principles of Black Lives Matter? Maybe we can put that up there for everybody real quick. The 13 principles, and the ones, I don't know if they can see that, but the one that I really love is the one that it takes a village. I think it's number 11 or 12 to raise children, and it's against the nuclear family. Basically, let's see, scroll down, keep going, one more. 11, Black villages We disrupt the narrow Western prescribed nuclear family structure expectation. We support each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially, quote unquote, our children. We believe the radical care belongs in the public square. Who used to talk about it takes a village to raise a child? Oh, right, Hillary Rodham Clinton. So this goes back a long ways. This goes back to 2008. Remember, then President-elect Obama said, we are 5 days away from transforming America. You're starting to see all this, folks? Starting to connect the dots? So what we are experiencing is Mao's Cultural Revolution, Western style, and it is very much wokeism versus Judeo-Christianity. And the new buzzword that you're going to hear everybody talk about is Christian nationalism, in the same sense of the deplorables and in the same sense of MAGA Republicans. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are all racist now. And that's the monologue. Joining me back again, my lovely co-host, Ericka Redic.
Hello, Robert.
And joining us, we should tell everybody, because this show is about the war on religion that's going on in the country.
Yeah.
We have a special guest with us today coming on, Bruce Abramson. Dr. Bruce Abramson, I think it's his 5th book or his 6th book.
He's 18th book, 100th book. I mean,
got a lot of books.
This guy's got such a big brain. You are in for a treat with the discussion we're going to have today. It's going to be super fun.
Before he comes on, because I know he's a couple minutes in the green room, let's put up his book. It's A Great Awokening. Let's so people can see what we're talking about. The American Spirit or Great Awokening, just released, and it really is a battle to restore. And as we've talked about, people talk about conservatism, right? And my argument is there's no such thing as conservatism. How do you conserve that which you've already lost?
Good question. That's a great question, Robert.
So maybe you can restore it, but in terms of the cultural revolution that we're going through, akin to Mao's revolution, right? You have to restore something. We've lost the battle. The question is there a Normandy-like D-Day landing that you can establish a battlefront in this war to sort of regain their footing? And I would argue that doesn't happen until you close the border. Because if you can't close the border...
You're not allowed to say that, remember, Robert?
I can say whatever I want to say. If
you believe in borders, it makes you an istophobe, okay?
What's an istophobe?
It's racism.
Is that like triskaidekaphobia?
You're racist, yes. That too, right? That's my catch-all term for the various insults that you get if you say something reasonable and rational and verifiably true with even a elementary school education. So you're an istophobe if you acknowledge borders, Robert. Okay,
can you spell that for me? Spell istophobe.
ISTAPHOBE.
Istophobe? You know what it sounds like?
What's that?
It sounds like Pig Latin.
It sounds like a sexually transmitted disease. That's what it sounds like.
Really?
Which apparently is
STD?
higher among the leftist community. I'm just saying, okay? I'm not trying to throw shade.
Okay.
It's just a fact, okay? Okay,
does that mean they're having more
trust
sex?
the science.
Wait. Are they having more sex, or are they just...
They're having less protected sex.
Oh, is that because they're busy transgendering?
Yes. Oh no, what happened?
I had to leave. I was busy transgendering for 30 seconds. I'm back. How do I look?
Oh my God, you are so dumb. I was like, that was like the real time, when it goes beep and it's got the colored bars across the screen.
Right. Well, by the way, those colored bars, if you know what those colored bars were, That shows your age, because at a certain time, TV, by the way, when I grew up, there were 5 channels, right?
Yeah.
There was Channel 7, ABC News, Channel 4, NBC, Channel 2 was CBS, you had Channel 9, which was WOR, New York City, and Channel 11, WPIX, excuse me, you had PBS, which was 13. You had 6 channels. And at like 2 a.m., the TV stopped. Can you imagine if TV stopped now?
Oh my goodness.
I think people would like start jumping off. Oh my God, TV stopped. Right. So
I think, what do you think actually, okay, so here's a question. I'm going to totally derail your where you're going. Did you hear about the AT&T outage?
No, where's the AT&T outage?
We're gonna have to, you guys. We're gonna probably have to cover this in the next episode. Hearing you talk about, oh, like what if TV went away? So AT&T was completely out for like a day,
Really?
and there
What
are
happened?
people conspiring, conspiracy theorizing.
Oh, you mean like me? I'm out. I keep going in and out here.
Oh, so you weren't doing that on purpose? Check your camera plugs and make sure they're all plugged in tight.
Really?
But yeah, no,
look like
AT&T
it's like
apparently had an outage. Check
Okay.
the camera too. Apparently had an outage like all day, essentially, where the system just wasn't working if you had a cell phone or whatever. So you guys go check it out. They're conspiracy theorizing about what it is, who's behind it, whether or not it was like a cyber attack. And
It was the
if
same
there's more
people
to
that were
come.
floating. It's the same people floating that balloon.
Oh, I'm telling you, bro. Like,
Okay.
this is,
So-
make sure you got some rice, make sure you got some beans and some water, okay? Get some
Rice.
iodine and put it in your basement, y'all. Because, where's my tinfoil hat, okay? Where's it? I misplaced it. Shoot.
All right. So look, I want to introduce to everyone Dr. Bruce Abramson,
Yes.
author, scholar, and his new book,
Statesman.
right? Spiritual Crisis, Great Awokening. Let's put up his book for him. Hello,
Oh,
Dr.
here we
Bruce.
go.
Hang on. American Spirit or Great Awakening. Just out on anywhere you can buy books, right?
Yep.
So, Dr. Bruce, thank you for joining us on Of the People. How are you?
Oh, we can't. Oh, no, we can't hear you, Bruce. Let's see.
Well, that's okay. We got the book up. So,
Yeah, you know what, Bruce? We don't actually need you. We're just going to talk about you in the third person as if you're not here. Double check your audio settings. There should be a little gear at the bottom. And just make sure you have the right microphone selected. You guys, there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes of these podcasts, radio shows, and episodes. Luckily, most of the time, you don't see how the sausage is made, but now you get to see us work through technical difficulties.
uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
So you do realize, so growing up, you used to get things like, there is nothing wrong with your TV set. We are in complete control. I think that was like one step beyond, as you know.
Yeah.
But there were, I mean, so, and we grew up with great horror, right? We grew up with The Twilight
right.
Zone. We grew up with One Step Beyond. All those, and then you get into like the 70s, you got like Kolchak, the Night Stalker kind of thing with Darren McGavin, which was not really that good, but he played the part well. In any event, so we're trying to fix some of this audio stuff. What I do want to talk about, though, because all of this is really related to this cultural revolution. And what people don't understand is that, as we talked about in the monologue, Ericka, the Hamas war against Israel is against really not just Israel, but Judeo-Christian values. The Black Lives Matter war here on traditional values is against Judeo-Christian values. The transgender LGBTQXYZ, whatever letters you put in there, is against traditional values, which are Judeo-Christian values. The fact that you now have reporters, and by the way, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Prisbilla? I mean, I'm horrible with pronouncing names, but so you actually have reporters now, and how you become a reporter and you just don't even understand the Constitution or foundational documents, which I guess since they don't teach them in school.
They don't care.
But
They don't care.
you mean facts don't matter?
No. Feelings don't care about your facts. Robert, why are you so
Feelings
silly?
on.
Look at what a silly goose you are. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think we got Bruce's mic working
Can you
now.
hear me?
We can hear you, ladies
Sorry.
and
Oh.
gentlemen.
You know what? I set up 20 minutes ahead of time. I tested
Yeah.
to make sure everything was working. And then when I finally realized I was not in your waiting room yet,
Yeah.
it all stopped working.
Isn't that
telling
life?
you.
That's like a
That's how
metaphor
it
for
always
life.
goes.
But
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. I'm sorry.
I broke out all my fancy equipment for you. I got my fancy microphone. I got my headphones.
Yeah. You're so
all right.
awesome, Bruce.
I may
love
be
it.
shouting.
love
I
it.
have no
love it.
idea.
So,
I
Bruce,
love
Dr. Bruce, let me tee this up. This is your sixth book, correct?
This is the sixth. Yeah.
Sixth book, and the book is American Spirit or Great Awakening.
Yes. And it
Okay,
is
and
brand new.
the principle and the argument in the book, we were talking about the Cultural Revolution. We're talking about the battle of religions in this country, and what we think is that the Hamas war against Israel is really not only against Israel but Judeo-Christian values there. Black Lives Matter. The Cultural Revolution here is against Judeo-Christian values here. Take us from there into your book. Tell us what it's about.
Sure. Okay. So the book really has a three-pronged argument. The first one is that America is suffering from a deep spiritual crisis. Number two is wokeism is a brilliant new religion that was devised to meet the spiritual needs of America's most spiritually starved people, namely our elite. And the third is that if we don't want to collapse into a completely woke country, we're going to have to reconnect with America's own spiritual roots and re-inject traditional faith into civic life. So that's the argument in a nutshell.
Oh,
right.
Okay. So give me some examples. I mean, I agree with you. We've had these conversations, on the show, not nearly as scholarly as yours, but in what walks of life are you seeing this in this country? Tie it into, because my argument would be that in the cultural battle, we've already lost the cultural battle. Right? I mean, name an institution that hasn't been either co-opted or corrupted.
That's a great question.
I agree with you. That was actually my previous book where I talked about the corruption of higher education in America, which is a problem I'm currently working to fix and address. But basically, I mean, as I've written, every major institution in American life has collapsed. I don't think there's a single one that could point with pride to its 21st century performance.
And let's itemize those for the listeners so they get an idea of what we're talking about by institutions.
Sure. Academia, university system, K-12 education, the media, government, major industries, entertainment, Wall Street. Have I left anybody out?
Not that I can think of, Ericka.
The military,
That's getting there. Getting there.
does that count?
So,
I mean,
they are trying to use they're trying to use LGBTQ advertising to recruit for the Navy. I mean, that'll tell you something.
So it's actually interesting with that one was there was a technique, and I tried writing about this. Nobody was listening. If you ever wondered what the defund the police movement was about, it was really about, and this is a trick that you see used in a lot of countries that are sliding into authoritarianism, is that the movement of the institutions to the new regimes happens slowly and unevenly. So there are always some that are lagging. Now, as the left seized control of more and more of our institutions, the last one standing was basically policing and the military. So what do you do? How do you turn over these institutions without upsetting people? The answer is you make it uncomfortable for good people to stay there.
Yeah.
Then you create an opening and you go hire all your own people. So it was clear to me from the beginning when they first started with the defund the police that the goal was to create massive vacancies in police forces. Then when people started screaming for need, they could go hire people they like better. And that was how they would take those over. You saw that the guy who used that very effectively was Erdogan in Turkey, who came in, and the two institutions he didn't control were the judiciary and the military. And he moved slowly, but he basically pushed all of the top generals and all of the top judges to retire so he could bring in his own people.
Well, how do you control a country? You know, all the people in charge of enforcing the law and law enforcement. If you can corrupt them, then you've got everything. I feel like that is like ultimate power.
Well, and that's what we're seeing in this country. You know, it's people have this idea that there's a line from Tolstoy that all happy families are the same, all unhappy families are unhappy in their own way. The same is true with societies. Healthy societies may look a lot alike, but every unhealthy and dying society will die in its own way. So you look at something like Nazi Germany, and what you saw was a degenerate form of Germany. You look at the Soviet Union, it was a degenerate form of Russia. The degenerate form of the United States is not going to look like either of those. It's going to be a degenerate American. And how do we do it? Well, you know, you think about something like Nazi Germany. They came in, they put in place Nuremberg laws. Okay, they had laws that discriminated against the Jews. We used to have laws discriminated by race. We got rid of them. We're not bringing them back. So what are we going to do? We're going to put in laws that apply to everybody. Then we're going to discriminate in how we apply them.
I
Say that again.
Yeah,
Say that
the
again.
last part.
Sure. There's a term that gets tossed around a lot called prosecutorial discretion.
Oh God, yeah.
Prosecutor gets to decide who they're going to enforce it
Right.
against.
And that's what they're using. Like all these
Right.
crazy left DAs are saying, oh, we don't have to prosecute things.
But that's the point. You see, shoplifting is illegal.
Right.
It's illegal if you're black, if you're white, if you're Latino, if you're Asian, if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, if you're an atheist, if you're a citizen, if you're an illegal immigrant. Shoplifting is illegal. There are too many shoplifters out there. I can't prosecute against all of them. So I'll just pick the ones against whom I want to prosecute. Now you tell me there's a pattern to whom I'm picking? Well, maybe, maybe not. Surely you're not going to say that these people should go free. Right? This is how things degenerate in America. Okay? And you actually saw this. The most amazing thing. The most amazing statement came from Governor of New York State, Kathy Hochul, after you had this outrageous judgment against Donald Trump.
Right.
And you had all these articles saying this is going to destabilize business in New York. And what did Hochul say? She said,
Oh, no. It's only
said,
Trump. It's only
yeah,
Trump.
That's exactly what she said. She said, you don't have to worry about that because you don't behave like Trump. Of course,
Of course, everybody who's a real estate person does do the same thing that they're accusing Donald Trump of. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, but that's exactly the point. See, now there's this precedent, and I can go after everybody. And again, when you've got a regime sliding into authoritarianism, it's important to take out a few rogue oligarchs. So Trump.
Yeah, you make an example of them.
Yeah. Right behind them is Elon Musk. Then it's going to come Bill Ackman. There'll be a handful of them. And Mark Andreessen is sticking his neck out.
Yep.
There
Well,
are.
and eventually it's going to be the Jamie Dimons and everybody else, because what is that expression you say, Robert? The alligator always eats you last, or it's going to, I'm going to feed the alligator so that it'll eat me last. They're still coming for you.
Yeah.
They're still coming for you.
Well, I mean, but again, that's not true.
My mic's not working.
You can't hear
We
me?
can hear you.
Okay. That's not necessarily true. If you look at what happened in Russia, there were a whole bunch of oligarchs who did very well during the Yeltsin years.
Okay.
Those that did not get along with Putin fared poorly. Those that got along with Putin are doing just fine.
Well, isn't that always the trick,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Go along to get along, and then... go ahead. Sorry, Bruce.
Yeah, I was saying that those who play the new game do fine.
Yep.
In fact, you need them.
That's right. That is right. All right. Oh, Robert, you are muted. We are having some technical difficulties today.
How's that,
ladies
Bruce?
and gentlemen.
Bruce, I have a question for you. How's that?
Right.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm not going to let you get through an episode with me muted the whole
You
time.
can-
That would be no fun at all for anybody, because I am the free entertainment around here.
You're going to get it back to the book, or are we still saving the world?
No, we're getting back to the book. So, but let's go back to basics. So one of your arguments in the book, and I personally agree, and we've had these conversations, is wokeism is a new religion.
Yes.
let's tackle that for a second. How is, I mean, we understand the tenets of Catholicism, or Christianity at large, Judaism, Buddhism. How is wokeism a new religion?
Well, I mean, there are a couple of things you have to remember. The first one is that it took a while to figure out the theology and the rationality and the reasoning behind all these religions. They didn't come out of the box fully baked. Right? If you think about Christianity, okay, the Nicene Creed was 350 plus years after Jesus. So you had 350 years with a lot of people going around, the Thomists and the Gnostics, and they were all Christians. It took a long time for somebody to come up with a canon. And even then, that canon wasn't a matter of consensus. That was just the official Christianity of Rome. Coptism, Coptic Christianity is older than Roman Catholicism. It's still vibrant in Egypt. So it does take a while for these things to come together. But there are, one of the things that I talk about a lot is the way that you know that this is a religion. I mean, there are a couple of ways. One is, it's a comprehensive overview of all of life, right? It's a way of reconceptualizing humanity, its role in the world, its relationship with its relationship with the world in general, and a way of conforming our behavior to achieve a more just world. That's just like any other faith. But an important part of my argument is that it also addresses deep spiritual needs. And you can find parallels in a lot of this stuff, between a lot of the stuff that the woke talk about and things that we have in contemporary faiths. So, for example,